Wait, I want to set the video.
Hello, and we're live.
Hello.
Welcome to our Tempest live reading
For the Bard Book Club. So let's introduce ourselves. Bridget, who are you playing on this fine evening?
I am playing Miranda Trinculo and reading the stage directions.
Lovely. Gabby, who are you playing?
I am playing Ceres and the Mariners.
Wonderful. Courtney, who are you playing?
I'm reading for Ferdinand.
Amazing. Michelle, who are you playing?
I'm Adrian.
Amazing. Austin, who are you playing?
I'm playing Boatswain.
David, who on earth are you playing?
Prospero.
Love it. Maddie, who are you playing?
I'm playing Caliban.
Kat, who are you playing?
I'm playing Gonzalo.
Madison, who are you playing?
The Master and Stefano.
Maggie, what about you?
Francisco and Juno.
Percy, who are you playing?
I am Alonso.
Mar, who are you playing?
I'm Antonio and Iris.
And Simon, who are you playing?
I am playing Sebastian.
And I am playing Ariel. So, is everyone ready and raring to go for Act 1? All right, so if you're not in Act 1, Scene 1, get...
The Tempest by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1. On a ship at sea, a tempestuous noise of thunder and lightning heard. Enter a master and a boatswain.
Boatswain.
Here, master, what cheer?
Good, speak to the mariners. Fall it to Yarley, or we run ourselves aground. Bestir, bestir.
Exit, enter mariners.
Hi, my hearts, cheerly, cheerly, my hearts. Yare, yare. Take in topsoil. Tend to the master's whistle. Blow till thou burst thy wind, if room enough.
Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Ferdinand, Gonzalo, and others.
Good, boatswain, have care. Where's the master? Play the men.
I pray now, keep below.
Where is the master, boatswain?
Do you not hear him? You mar our labor? Keep your cabins. You do assist the storm.
Hey, good, be patient.
When the sea is, hence, what cares these roarers for the name of king? To cabin, silence, trouble us not.
Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard.
None that I more love than myself. You are a counselor. If you can command these elements to silence and work the peace of the president, we will not hand a rope more. Use your authority. If you cannot, give thanks you have lived so long, and make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour, if it so hap. Cheerly, good hearts, out of our way, I say.
I have great comfort from this fellow. Methinks he hath no drowning mark upon him. His complexion is perfect gallows. Stand fast, good fate, to his hanging. Make the rope of his destiny our cable. For our own cloth, our own doth little advantage. If he be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable.
Excellent. Re-enter boatswain.
Down with the topmast, yare. Lower, lower, bring her to try with main course.
A cry within. Ah!
A plague upon this howling, they are louder than the weather of our office.
Re-enter Sebastian, Antonio, and Gonzalo.
Yet again, what do you hear? Shall we give over and drown? Have you a mind to sink?
A pox on your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, incharitable dog.
Work you then.
Hang her, hang, you whoreson and insolent noisemaker. We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art.
I'll warrant him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell, and as leaky as an unstanched wench.
Lay her a hold. Set her 2 courses off to sea again. Lay her.
Enter mariners. Wet.
All lost! To prayers, all lost!
What, must our mouths be cold?
The king and prince at prayers. Let's assist them, for our case is as theirs.
I'm out of patience.
We are merely cheated of our lives by drunkards. This white-chapped rascal will down my lie drowning the washing of 10 tides.
He'll be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it, and gape at widest to glut him.
Confused noise within. Mercy on us! We split! We split! Farewell, my wife and children! Farewell, brother! We split! We split! We split!
Let's all sink with the king.
Let's take leave of him.
Exeunt Antonio and Sebastian.
Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground, long heath, brown furs, anything. The wills above be done, but I would fain die a dry death.
Exeunt. Scene 2. The island, before Prospero's cell. Enter Prospero and Miranda. If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer, a brave vessel who had no doubt some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth or air. It should have the good ship so have swallowed, and the fraught souls within her.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, who what my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, a master of a full porcel, and thy no greater father.
More to know did never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time. I should inform thee further. Lend me my hand, lend thy hand, and pluck my magic garment from me. So,
Lays down his mantle.
lie there, my art. Wipe thou thine eyes, have comfort. The direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have with such provision in mine art so safely ordered that there is no soul, nor no perdition no, not so much perdition as an hair betid to any creature in the vessel which thou heardst cry, which thou saw'st sink. Sit down, for thou must know farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour is not come. The very minute birds thee up thy ear, obey and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for when thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance.
'Tis far off and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
Thou hadst, and more, Miranda. But how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward in abysm of time? If thou rememberest aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayst.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since. Thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue when she said thou wast my daughter, and thy father was Duke of Milan, and thou his only heir and princess no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens, what foul play had we that we came from thence? Or blessed was we did.
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou say, were we heaved thence, but blessedly helped hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you farther.
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, I pray thee, mark me, that brother should be so perfidious. He whom's next thyself of all the world I have loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at that time through all of the signories, it was the first, and Prospero the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity for the liberal arts without a parallel, those being all my study. The government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected to how grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance, and who to trash for overtopping, newly created the creatures that were mine, or as I say, changed them, or else new formed them, having both the key of officer and office, set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear. And now he was the ivy which had hid my princely trunk and sucked my verdure out on't. Thou attend'st not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I pray thee, mark me. I thus, neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind, with that which by being so retired or prized all popular rate in my false brother, awakened in an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great as my trust was, which was indeed no limit, a confidence sans bounds. He being thus lorded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power else might extract, like one who, having into truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie. He did believe he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution and executing the outward face of royalty with all the prerogative, hence his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it, for he needs be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library, was dukedom large enough of temporal royalties, he thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry he was for sway with the king of Naples, to him annual tribute, do him homage, subjected his coronet to his crown, and bend the dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens.
Mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother.
I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons.
Now the condition. The king of Naples, being an enemy to me and inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom and confer fair Milan with all of the honors on my brother, whereon a treacherous army levied. One midnight, fated to the purposes, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness, the ministers for the purpose hurried hence, me and thy crying self.
Alack, for pity, I not remembering how I cried out then. Will cry it o'er again. It is a hint that rings mine eyes to it.
Hear a little further, and then I'll bring thee to the present business, which is now upon us, without which the story were most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not. So dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colors fairer painted their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to the sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a boat, not rigged, nor tackle, nor sail, nor mast. The very rats instinctively had to quit it. There they hoist us, to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds whose pity, sighing back, did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, cherubim, that was what did preserve me. That did smile, infused with the fortitude from heaven, when I have decked the sea with drops full of salt under my burthen groaned, which raised in me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensue.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. But some food we had and some fresh water that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, being then appointed master of this design, did give us, with rich garments, linen, stuffs, and necessities, which we have steaded so much. So, of his gentleness, knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from my own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Now arise.
Resumes his mantle.
Sit still. Here in the last of our sea sorrow, here this island we arrived, and here I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princesses can have in more time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heavens, thank you for it, and now I pray you, sir, for still 'tis my beating in my mind, your reason for raising the sea storm.
No, thus far forth, by accident most strange, bountiful fortune, now, my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore, and by my presence, I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I court but omit, my fortunes ever after will droop. Here, cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it away. I know thou canst not choose.
Miranda sleeps.
Come away, servant, come. I'm ready now. Approach, my Ariel. Come.
Enter Ariel.
All hail, great master. Gape, sir, hail. I come to answer by thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds to thy strong bidding task, Ariel, and all their quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to the point of the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin. I flamed amazement, sometime I'll divide and burn in many places. On the topmast, the yards and bowsprit, would I flame distinctly, then meet and join. Jove's lightnings, the precursors, oh, the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunning, were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege and make his bold waves tremble, ye his dread trident shake.
My brave spirit, who is so firm, so constant that this coil will not infect his reason?
Not a soul, but felt a fever of the mad, and played some tricks on desperation. All but mariners plunged in the foaming bride and quit the vessel. Then all afire with me, the king's son Ferdinand, with hair upstarting, then like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leapt and cried, hell is empty, and all the devils are here.
Why, that's my spirit. But was not this nigh shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished. On their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son have I landed by himself, whom I left cooling on the air and sighs in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting, his arms in a sad knot.
Of the kingship, the mariners say how thou disposed of the rest of the fleet?
Safely in harbor, in the king's ship, in the deep nook, where once thou calledst me upon a midnight to fetch dew from the still vexed vermouths. There she's hid. The mariners are all under hatches stowed, who with a charm join to their suffered labor. I have left asleep. And for the rest of the fleet, which I disperse, they all have met again and are upon the Mediterranean float, but sadly home for Naples, supposing that they saw the king's ship wrecked and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed, but there's more work. What is the time of the day?
It's past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now, Moody? What's it thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out? No more.
I prithee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistaking, served without or grudge or grumblings. Thou didst promise to bait me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost, and think much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp wind of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost.
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing? Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Agrier.
Oh, was she so? I must once a month recount what thou hast been, which thou'st forget. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible, to enter a human hearing from Argrier, thou knowest, was banished for one thing she did. They would not take her life. Is this not true?
I, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither bought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, thou, as thou reportst thyself, was then her servant, and for thou was a spirit too delicate to act her earthly and abhorred commands. Refusing her grand height, she did confine thee by help of her more potent ministers, and in her more unmitigable rage into a cloven pine, which was rift and imprisoned. Thou didst painfully remain a dozen years, within which space she died and left thee there, and where thou didst thy vent thy groans as far as mill wheel strikes. Then it was this island, save for the sun that she did litter here, a freckled whelp hag born, not honored with human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Dull thing, I say so. He that Caliban whomst I now keep in service. Thou best knowest what torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl and penetrate the breasts of ever angry beast. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art. When I arrived and heard thee, thou made that gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will write an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be corresponded to command and do my spiriting gently.
Do so, and after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go makes thyself like a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go take this shape, and hither come it. Go, hence with diligence.
Exit Ariel.
Awake, dear heart, awake. Hast thou sleep well? Awake.
The strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
Shake it off. Come on, we'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us a kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir. I do not love to look on.
Ah, but 'tis we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch in our wood, serve in our offices that profit us. What ho! Slave, Caliban, thou earth, thou, speak.
There's wood enough within.
Come forth, I say, there's other business for thee. Come, thou tortoise, when?
We enter Ariel like a water nymph.
Fine apparition. My quaint Ariel, hearken thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Exit.
Thou poisonous slave, got by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam, come forth.
Enter Caliban.
As wicked do, as ere my mother brushed with raven's feather from unwholesome fen, drop on you both, a southwest blow on ye, and blister you all o'er.
For this be sure, tonight thou shalt have cramped side stitches that shall pen thy breath up. Urchins shall for that vast night that they may speak all exercise upon thee. Thou shalt be pinched as thick as a honeycomb, and each pinch more stinging than bees can make them.
I must eat my dinner. This island's mine, by Sycorax my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me and madest much of me, wouldst give me water with berries in it, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the less that burn by day and night. And then I loved thee, and showed thee all the qualities of the isle, the fresh springs, brine pits, barren place and fertile. Cursed be that I did so. All the charms of Sycorax, toads, beetles, bats, slight on you, for I am all the subjects that you have, which was first mine own king. And here you stye me in this hard rock, whilst you do keep from me the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whose stripes may move, not kindness. I have used thee, filth as thou art, with human care, and lodged me in mine own cell. Thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Oh ho, would it had been done, thou didst prevent me. I had peopled else the isle with Calibans.
Abhorred slave, which any print of goodness will not take, be capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or another, when thou did not, savage, know thine own meaning. But thou wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words that made them known, but thy vile race thou didst learn, and had that in it with good natures could not abide to be with. Therefore wast thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hadst deserved more than a prison.
You taught me language, and my profit on it is I know how to curse. The red plague rids you for learning me your language.
Hag seed, hence, fetch us fuel, and be quick. Thou art best to answer other business. Shruggest thou malice, if thou neglect'st or does unwilling what I command? I'll rack thee with old cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee more roar that beast shall tremble all thy din.
No, pray thee, I must obey his art of such power. It would control my damn's god, Sebatus, and make a vassal of him.
So slave, hence.
Exit Caliban, re-enter Ariel, invisible, playing and singing, Ferdinand following. Ariel song.
Sorry, actually, come on to these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you haven't kissed, the wild waves whist, footers feedly here and there, and sweet sprites the burthen bear. Hark, hark.
Burthen, dispersedly within.
The watchdogs bark.
Burthen, bow wow.
I don't know. Hark, hark, I hear the strain of strutting chanticleer cry a cock-a-diddle-doo.
Where should this music be? In the air or the earth? It sounds no more, and sure it waits upon some god of the island, sitting on a bank, weeping again for the king of my father's wreck. This music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Thence I've followed it, or hath it drawn me rather. But 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Under the sea.
Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring his knell.
Burthen, ding dong.
Hark, I hear them. Ding dong bell. The ditty does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
The fringed curtains of thine eyne advanced, and say what thou seest yond.
What is it? A spirit? Lord, how it looks. Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form, but 'tis a spirit.
No, wench. It eats and sleeps and has such senses as we have such. This gallant which thou seest was in the wreck, but he is something stained with grief that's beauty's canker. Thou mightst call him a goodly person. He has lost his fellows and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
And it goes on, I see. My soul prompts it. Spirit, Fine spirit, I'll free thee within 2 days for this.
Most sure the goddess on whom these airs attend, vouchsafe my prayer, may know if you remain upon this island, and that you will some good instruction give, how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, you wonder if you be maid or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My languages, heavens, I am the best of them that speak this speech, were I but where 'tis spoken.
Oh, the best? Wert thou word, the king of Naples heard thee.
A single thing as I am now that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since at ebb beheld the king my father wrecked.
Alack, for mercy.
Yes, faith, and all his lords, the Duke of Milan and his brave son being twain.
Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter could control thee if thou wert fit to do it. At the sight they have changed eyes. Delicate Ariel, I'll set thee free for this. A good word, sir. I fear you have done some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that e'er I saw, the first that e'er I sighed for. Pity move my father to be inclined my way.
Oh, if a virgin and your infection not gone forth, I'll make you the queen of Naples.
Soft, sir. One word more. And they are both in either's powers, but this swift business I must make uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. One more word, I charge thee, that thou attendst me. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast put thyself upon this island as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on it.
No, as I am a man.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirit have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell with it.
Follow me. Speak you not for him. He's a traitor. Come. I'll manacle thy neck and feet together. Sea water thou shalt drink, and food shall be the fresh brook mussels, withered roots and hucks, wither acorn cradle. Follow.
No, I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more.
Draws and is charmed from moving. Oh, dear father, make not too rash a trial of him, for he's gentle and not fearful.
What? I say, my foot, my tutor. Put thy sword up, traitor, who makest a show but darest not strike. Thy conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come from thy ward, for here I can disarm thee with this stick and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father.
Hence, hang not upon my garments.
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence, one word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What, an advocate for an impostor? Hush. Thou think there is no more shapes as he, having seen but him in Caliban. Foolish wench. To most of men, this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. Thy nerves are in thy infancy again. Have no vigor in them.
So they are. My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel, the wreck of all my friends, nor this man's threats, to whom I am subdued, are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid, all corners else of the earth, let liberty make use of, space enough have I in such a prison.
It works! Come on. Thou hast done well, fine Ariel. Follow me. Hark! What else shalt thou do me?
Be of comfort. My father's of a better nature, sir, than he appears by speech. This is unwanted, which now came from him.
Thou shalt be free as mountain winds, but then do exactly all points of my command.
To the syllable.
Come, follow. Speak not for him.
Excellent. Act 2, Scene 1, another part of the island. Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Gonzalo, Adrian, Francisco, and others.
Beseech you, sir, be merry, you have cause, so have we all, of joy, for our escape is so much beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common, every day some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchant, and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace.
He receives comfort like cold porridge.
Visitor will not give him over so.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
Sir,
One, tell.
when every grief is entertained that's offered comes to the entertainer,
$1.
dollar comes to him indeed. You have spoken truer than you proposed.
You have taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord,
Fie, what a spendthrift is he of his tongue.
I prithee, spare.
well, I have done, but yet,
You will be talking.
Which of he or Adrian, for a good wager, first begins to crow?
The old cock.
Cockerel,
Done. The wager?
all after.
A match.
Though this island seem to be desert,
Ha ha ha. So you're paid?
uninhabitable, and almost inaccessible,
Yet.
yet
He couldn't miss it.
it must needs be of subtle, tender, and delicate temperance.
Temperance was a delicate wench.
Aye, and as subtle as he most learnedly delivered.
The air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
As if it had lungs and rotten ones.
Or as it were perfumed by a fen.
here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
Of that there's none or little.
How lush and lusty the grass looks, how green.
The ground indeed is tawny.
With an eye of green in it.
He misses not much.
No, he doth but mistake the truth totally.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit,
As many vouched rarities are.
that our garments being as they were drenched in the sea, hold notwithstanding their freshness and glosses, being rather new dyed than stained with salt water.
If but one of his pockets could speak, will it not say he lies?
Aye, or very falsely pocket up his report.
Methinks our garments are now as fresh as when we put them on at first in Afric at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Tunis was never graced before with such a paragon to their queen.
Not since Widow Dito's time.
Widow, a pox of that. How came that widow in? Widow.
What if he had said widower Aeneas too? Good Lord, how you take it?
Widow Dido, said you? You make me study of that? She was of Carthage, not of Tunis.
This Tunis, sir, was Carthage.
Carthage?
I assure you, Carthage.
His word is more than the miraculous harp. He hath raised the wall and houses too.
What impossible matter will he make easy next?
I think he will carry this island home in his pocket and give it to his son for an apple.
And sowing the kernels of it in the sea, bring forth more islands.
Aye.
Why, in good time.
Sir, we were talking that our garments seem now as fresh as when we were at Tunis at the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen.
And the rarest that ever came there.
Bait, I beseech you, Widow Dido.
Oh, Widow Tito. Oh, Widow Tito.
Is not, sir, my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it? I mean, in a sort.
That sword was well fished for.
When I wore it at your daughter's marriage?
You cram these words into mine ears against my stomach of my sense. Would I had never married my daughter there, for coming thence my son is lost. And in my rage, she too, who is so far from Italy removed, I ne'er again shall see her. O thou mine heir of Naples and of Milan, what strange fifth should have made this meal of thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him and ride upon their backs. He trod the water, whose enmity he flung aside, and breasted the surge most swollen that met him. His bold head above the contentious waves he kept, and oared himself with his good arms and lusty stroked shore, that o'er the wave-worn basis bowed, as stooping to relieve him, I not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he is gone.
Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss. That would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to an African, where she at least is banished from your eye, who hath cause to whet the grief on't.
Prithee, peace.
You were kneeled to and importuned otherwise by all of us, and the fair soul herself weighed between lothness and obedience at which end of the beam should blow. We have lost your son, I fear, forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them than businesses making than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's our own.
So is the dearest of the loss.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness, and time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
I must courageously.
It is foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather?
Very foul.
Had I plantation of this isle, my lord.
Ill sowed with nettle seed.
Or docks, or mallows?
And were the king on't, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine.
I, the Commonwealth, I would by contraries execute all things, for no kind of traffic would I admit, no name of magistrate, letters should not be known, riches, poverty, and use of service none, contract, succession, born, bound of land, tilth, vineyard none, no use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil, no occupation, all men idle, all, and women too, but innocent and pure, no sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on't.
Latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
All things in common nature should produce, without sweat or endeavor, treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or need of any engine, would I not have, but nature should bring forth, of all its own kind, all foison, all abundance, to feed my innocent people.
No marrying mongst his subjects?
None, man, all idle, whores and knaves.
I would with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
God save his majesty.
Long live Gonzalo.
And do you mark me, sir?
Prithee, no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen who are such sensible and nimble lungs that they always use to laugh at nothing.
It was you we laughed at.
Who in this merry fooling am nothing to you, so you may continue and laugh nothing still.
What a blow was there given.
And it had not fallen flat long.
You are gentlemen of brave metal. You would lift the moon out of her sphere if she would continue it in 5 weeks without changing.
Enter Ariel, invisible, playing solemn music.
We would so, and then go a bat fowling.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No, I warrant you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep, for I am very heavy.
Go sleep and hear us.
All sleep except Alonso, Sebastian, and Antonio.
What? All so soon asleep? I wish mine eyes would with themselves shut up my thoughts. I find they're inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offer of it. It seldom visits sorrow. When it doth, it is a comforter.
We too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest and watch your safety.
Thank you. Wondrous heavy.
Alonso sleeps. Exit Ariel.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
Why, doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I, my spirits are nimble. They fell together all as by consent. They dropped as by thunder stroke. What might, worthy Sebastian, oh what might, no more. And yet methinks I see it in thy face. What thou shouldst be, the occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Art thou waking?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do, and surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakest out of thy sleep. If it is thou didst say, this is a strange repose, to be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lest thy fortune sleep, thy rather winkest while thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my custom. You must be so too, if hit me, which to do troubles thee over.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so. To ebb, hereditary sloth instructs me.
Oh, if you but knew how you the purpose cherish, while thus you mock it. How in stripping it, you more invested, ebbing men indeed, must often do so near the bottom run by their own fear or sloth.
Prithee, say on. The setting of thine eye and cheek proclaim a manner from thee, and a birth indeed which throws thee much to yield.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this who shall be of as little memory, when his earth had here almost persuade, for his spirit of persuasion only professes to persuade, the king his sons alive. It is impossible that he's undrowned, and he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Oh, out of that no hope, what great hope have you? No hope that way is another way so high a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wing beyond. But thou, discovery there, would you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Clarabelle.
She that is queen of Tunis, she that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life, she that from Naples can have no note unless the sun were post, the man the moons to slow till newborn chins be rough and razorable, she that from whom we all were sea swallowed, though come some cast again, and by that destiny to perform an act, whereof what's past is prologue, what to come in yours and my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true, my brother's daughter's queen of Tunis. So is she heir of Naples. Twixt which religions there is some space.
A space whose every covert seems to cry out, how shall that Clarabelle measure us back to Naples, keeping Tunis and let Sebastian wake? Say these were death that now had seized them. Why they were no worse than now they are. There be that can rule Naples, as well as he that sleeps. Lords that can prate as amply and unnecessarily as this Gonzalo. I myself could make a cough of as deep shot. All that you bore the mind that I do, what a sleep were these for you advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True, and look how well my garments sit upon me, much fitter than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows, now they are my men.
But for your conscience?
Aye, sir, where lies that? If it were a hive, it will put me to my slipper, but I feel not this deity in my bosom, 20 consciences that stand twist me and Milan, candid be they, and melt ere they molest. Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that which now he's like, that's death. Whom I, with the disobedient still 3 inches of it, can lay to bed forever, whilst you, doing thus to the perpetual wing, for I might put this ancient morsel, this their prudence, who should not operate or chorus. For all the rest, they'll take suggestion as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business that we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou gotst Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together, and when I rear my hand, do you the like to fall it on Gonzalo.
Oh, but one word.
They talk apart, re-enter Ariel, invisible.
My master, through his art, foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, for else his project dies to keep them living.
Sings in Gonzalo's ear.
Under the sea, under the sea. While you here do snoring lie, opened-eyed conspiracy, his time doth take, if of life you keep a care. Shake off slumber and beware. Awake, awake.
Then let us both be sudden.
Now, good angels, preserve the king.
Why?
They wake.
How now, oh wake, why are you drawn? Wherefore is this ghastly looking?
What's the matter?
Whiles we stood here secure in your repose, even now we heard a hollow burst of bellowing, like bulls, or rather lions. Did it not wake you? It struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, it was deemed to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake. Sure, it was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honor, sir, I heard a humming, and that a strange one too, which did awake me. I shaked you, sir, and cried. As mine eyes opened, I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise, that's verily. 'Tis best we stand upon our guard, or that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Leave off this ground, and let's make further search for my poor son.
Heavens keep him from these beasts, for he is sure in the island.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely and seek thy son.
Exeunt. Scene 2. Another part of the island. Enter Caliban, with a burden of wood, a noise of thunder heard.
Oh, the infections that the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats, on Prosper fall and make him by inch meal a disease. His spirits hear me, and yet I needs cursed. But they'll nor pinch, fright me with urchin shows, pitch me in the mire, nor lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way, unless he bid 'em. But for every trifle are they set upon me, sometime like apes that mow and chatter at me, and after bite me, then like hedgehogs which lie tumbling in my barefoot way, and mount their pricks at my footfall. Sometime am I all wound with adders, who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness.
Enter Trinculo.
Lo, now, lo! Here comes a spirit of his, and to torment me for bringing wood in slowly, I'll fall flat. Perchance he will not mind me.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all, and another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Yond some black cloud, yond huge one looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by payfuls. What have we here? A man or a fish, dead or alive? A fish, he smells like a fish. a very ancient and fish-like smell. A kind of nut of the newest Poor John, a strange fish. Were I in England now, as once I was, and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there, but would give a piece of silver. There would this monster make a man. Any strange beast there makes a man, when they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar. They will lazy out 10 to see a dead Indian, legged like a man, and his fins like arms. Worm of my troth, I do now let loose my opinion. Hold it in no longer. This is no damn fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt.
Thunder!
Alas, the storm has come again. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shroud till the dreads of storm be past.
Enter Stefano, singing, a bottle in his hand.
I shall no more to see her, shall I die ashore? This is a very scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort.
Drinks, sings.
The master, the swabber, the boatswain, and I, the gunner, and his mate, loved them all, Meg, Marian, and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate, for she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, go hang. She loved not the savor of tar nor pitch, yet a tailor might scratch her wherever she did hitch. There's no sea boys, and let her go hang. This is a scurvy tune too, but here's my comfort.
Do not torment me. Oh.
What's the matter? Have we devils here? Do you put tricks upon with savages a man of Ind? I am not escaped drowning to be afeard now of your 4 legs, for it hath been said, as a proper man as ever went on 4 legs cannot make him give ground. And it shall be said so again, while Stefano breathes at its nostrils.
The spirit torments me. Oh.
This is some monster of the isle with 4 legs who have got, as I take it, an ague, where the devil should he learn our language. I will give him some relief, if it be that for that, if I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him. He's a present for any emperor that ever trod on meat's leather.
Do not torment me. Prithee, I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in a fit now and does not talk after the wisest. He shall have a taste of my bottle. If he have never drunk wine afore, will go near to remove his fit. If I can recover him and keep him tame, I will not take it too much from him. He shall pay for him that hath him, and that soundly.
Thou dost me yet but little hurt. Thou wilt deny. I know it by thy trembling. Now prosper works upon thee.
Come on your ways, open your mouth. Here is that which will give you language. Cat, open your mouth, and I will you shaking. I can tell you, and that soundly, you cannot tell who's your friend. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice. It should be, but he is drowned, and these are devils. Oh, defend me.
4 legs and 2 voices? A most delicate monster. His forward voice now is to speak well of his friend. His backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. If all the wine in my bottle will recover him, it will help his ague. Come, amen, I will pour some into thy other mouth.
Stefano!
Doth thy other mouth call me? Mercy, mercy, this is a devil and no monster. I will leave him. I have no long spoon.
Stefano, if thou best Beest Stephano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeared, thy good friend Trinculo.
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by the lesser legs. If any be Trinculo's legs, these are they. Thou art very Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be the siege of the moon calf? Can he vent Trinculos?
I took him to be killed with a thunderstroke, but art thou not drowned, Stephano? I hope now thou art not drowned. Is the storm overblown? I hid me under the dead moon calf's gabardine for fear of the storm. And art thou living, Stephano? Oh, Stephano, 2 Neapolitans scaped.
Prithee, do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites, that's a brave god and bears celestial liquor, I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. I escaped upon a butt of sack which the sailors heaved overboard by this bottle, which I made out of the bark of a tree with mine own hands, since I cast ashore.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here, swear then how thou escapest.
Swum ashore, man like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book. Thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stephano, hast any more of this?
The whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, moon calf? How does thine agoo?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon, I do assure thee, I was the man in the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog, and thy bush.
Come, swear to that. Kiss the book. I will furnish it anon when with new contestants or contents swear.
By this good light, there is a very shallow monster. I have feared of him. A very weak monster. The man in the moon, a most poor credulous monster, well-drawn monster in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I will kiss thy foot. Prithee, be my god.
By this light, a most perfidious and drunken monster. When his god's asleep, he'll rob his bottle.
I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy subject.
Come on then, down and swear.
I shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster. A most scurvy monster. I could find in my heart to beat him.
Come, kiss.
But that the poor monsters in drink, an abominable monster.
I'll show thee the best springs. I'll pluck thee berries. I'll fish for thee and get thee wood enough. A plague upon that tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I pray thee, let me bring thee where crabs grow, and I with my long nails will dig thee pig nuts, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. I'll bring thee to clustering filberets, and sometimes I'll get thee young scamels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
I prithee now lead the way without any more talking. Trinculo, the king and all our company else be drowned. We will inherit here. Bear my bottle, fellow Trinculo. We'll fill him by and by again.
Farewell, master, farewell, farewell.
A howling monster. A drunken monster.
No more dams will make for fish, nor fetch and firing at requiring, nor scape trencher, nor wash dish. Ben, Caliban has a new master, get a new man. Freedom, heyday, heyday, freedom, freedom, heyday, freedom.
Oh, brave monster, lead the way.
Exit. Act 3, Scene 1, before Prospero's cell. Enter Ferdinand, bearing a log.
There be some sports that are painful, and their labor delight in them sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. This my mean task would be as heavy to me as odious, but the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's crabbed, and he's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a sore injunction. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees my works and says, such baseness had never like executor I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors, most busy, lest when I do it.
Enter Miranda and Prospero at a distance, unseen. Alas, now, pray you, work not so hard. I would the lighting had burnt up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. Pray, set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature, I'd rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well it does you, and I should do it with much more ease. For my goodwill is to it, and yours is against it.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I have broke your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda, indeed the top of admiration. Worth, what's dearest to the world? Full many a lady I've eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women. Never any with so fun soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed, and put it to the foil. But you, oh, you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember save from my glass, mine own, nor have I seen more than I may call men than you, good friend, and my dear father. How features are abroad, I am skilless of. But by my modesty, the jewel is my dower. I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I'm in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
Oh, heaven, oh, earth, bear witness to this sound and crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. If hollowly, invert what best is voted to me, to mischief, I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections, heavens rain grace on that which breeds between them.
Oh wait, that's Prospero.
I am so sorry.
It's okay, I didn't realize that.
That's me. Hi. Hey.
I'm so sorry.
So glad is this they cannot be, who are but surprised withal, but my rejoicing in it nothing
Wait, where
more.
are you?
I don't
Fair
know.
encounter.
Where am I?
Page 47.
Here we go. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Poor worm that are infected, his visitation shows it. Is that where we are?
Fair encounter of two most rare affections.
Haven't. Just keep going, Courtney.
Yeah,
Fair
sure.
encounter of
Wherefore
two
weep
most rare
you?
affections, heaven reigns grace, and that which breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take, what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence bashful cunning, and prompt me plain and holy innocence. I am your wife if you will marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or not, or no.
My mistress, dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
I, with a heart as willing as bondage ever of freedom, here is my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it, and now farewell till half an hour hence.
1,000,000.
Exeunt Ferdinand and Miranda severally.
So glad of this is they I cannot be, who are surprised withal. But my rejoicing nothing can be more. I'll chew my book, for yet ere supper time I must perform much business appertaining.
Exit. Scene 2. Another part of the island. Enter Caliban, Stephano, and Trinculo.
Tell not me when the butt is out. We will drink water, not a drop before. Therefore bear up in boredom. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, the folly of this island. They say there's but 5 upon this isle. We are 3 of them. If the other 2 be brained like us, the state trotters.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else? He were a brave monster indeed, if they were set in his tail.
My man monster hath drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. I swam ere I could recover the shore, 35 leagues off and on. By this light, thou shalt be my lieutenant, monster, or my standard.
Your lieutenant, if you list. He's no standard.
Will not run, monsieur monster.
Nor go neither, but you'll lie like dogs, and yet say nothing neither.
Mooncalf, speak once in thy life if thou be'st a good mooncalf.
How does thy honor? Let me lick thy shoe. If not, I'll not serve him. He's not valiant.
Thou liest, most ignorant monster. I am in case to justle a constable. Why, thou debauched fish, though, was there ever a man, a coward, that hath drunk so much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
Lo, how he mocks me! Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Lord, quoth he, that a monster should be such a natural.
Lo, again, bite him to death, I pray thee.
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your head. If you prove a mutineer, the next tree, the poor monster's my subject, and he shall not suffer indignity.
I think, my noble lord, wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made to thee?
Mary, will you kneel and repeat it? I will stand, and so shall Trinculo.
As I told thee before,
Ariel invisible.
I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Thou liest.
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trinculo, if you trouble him any more, entail by this hand I will supplement some of your teeth.
Why? I didn't. I said nothing.
Mons then, and no more. Proceed.
I say, by sorcery, he got this eye. From me, he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, for I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That most certain.
Thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
How now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, yea, my lord. I'll yield him thee asleep, where thou mayest knock a nail into his bead.
Thou liest. Thou canst not.
What a beheading is this? Thou scurvy patch, I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows, and take his bottle from him. When that's gone, he shall drink naught but brine, for I'll not show him where the quick freshes are.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. Interrupt the monsters one word further, and by this hand I will turn my mercy out of doors, and make a stockfish of thee.
Why? What did I? I did nothing. I'll go farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Do I so? Take thou that.
Beats Trinculo.
As you like this, give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie. Out of your wits and bearing too, a pox on your bottle. This can sack and drinking do. A murrain on your monster, and the devil take your fingers.
Now forward with your tale, prithee, stand farther off.
Beat him enough. After a little time, I'll beat him too.
Stand farther. Come, proceed.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom with him, in the afternoon to sleep. There thou mayest brain him, having first seized his books, or with a log batter his skull, or punch him with a stick, or cut his wazand with thy knife. Remember first to proceed his books, for without them he's but a sot, as I am, nor hath not one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books. He has brave utensils, for so he calls them, when he has a house, he'll deck with all, and that most deeply to consider it is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a nonpareil. I never saw a woman, but only Sycorax, my dam ain't she. But she as far surpasseth Sycorax, as greatest does last.
Is it so brave as lass?
Aye, Lord. She will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man, his daughter, and I will be king and queen, save our graces, and Trinculo and thyself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like this plot, Trinculo?
Excellent.
Give me my hand. I'm sorry I beat thee. But while thou livest, keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half hour will he be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
Aye, on my honor.
Tell my master.
Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Will you troll the catch you taught me, but will err?
At thy request, monster, I will do reason. Any reason. Come on, Trinculo, let us sing. Flout 'em and scout 'em and scout 'em and flout 'em. Thought is free.
That's not the tune.
What is
Ariel
the
plays
same?
the tune on timbre and pipe.
What is the same?
This is the tune of our catch played by the picture of nobody.
If thou be'st a man, show thyself in thy likeliness. If thou be the devil, take as thou list.
Oh, forgive me my sins.
He that dies pays all debts. I defy thee, mercy upon us.
Art thou afeard?
No, monster, not I.
Be not afeared. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometime voices that, if I then had waked after long sleep, will make me sleep again. And then, in dreaming, the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me that, when I waked, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me, or I shall have my music for nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed.
That shall be by and by. I remember the story. That sound is going away. Let's follow it and after do our work. Lead, monster. We'll follow. I would I could see the straborder. He lays on it. Wilt come? I'll follow, Stefano.
Excellent. Scene 3, another part of the island. Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Gonzalo, Adrian, Francisco, and others.
Barlakin, I can go no further, sir. My old bones ache. Here's a maze trod indeed. Through forthrights and meanders, by your patience, I needs must rest me.
Oh Lord, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with weariness to the dulling of my spirit. Sit down and rest. Even here I will put off hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. He's drowned, whom thus we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, let him go.
I am right glad that he's so out of hope, and do not for one repulse forgo the purpose that you resolve to effect.
The next advantage will we take thoroughly.
Let it be tonight, for now they are oppressed with travel, and they will not nor cannot use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say, tonight, no more.
Solemn and strange music.
What harmony is this? My good friends, hark!
Marvelous sweet music.
Enter Prospero above, invisible. Enter several strange shapes, bringing in a banquet. They dance about it with gentle actions of salutation, and inviting the king and company to eat, they depart.
Give us, kind keepers, heavens, what are these?
A living drollery. Now I will believe that there are unicorns, that in Arabia there is one tree, the phoenix's throne, one phoenix at this hour reigning there.
I'll believe both, and what does else want credit come to me, and I'll be sworn it is true. Travelers never did lie, though fools at home condemn them.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? If I should say I saw such islanders, for, certes, these are people of the island, who, though they are of monstrous shape, yet, note, their manners are more gentle kinds than of our human generation you shall find many, nay, almost any.
Honest Lord, thou hast said well, for some of you there present are worse than devils.
I cannot too much muse. Such shape, such gesture, and such sound, expressing, although they want the use of tongue, a kind of excellent dumb discourse.
Praise and departing.
They vanished strangely.
No matter, since they have left their viands behind, for we have stomachs. Will it please you to taste of what is here?
Not I.
Faith, sir, you need not fear. When we were boys, who would believe that this were mountaineers, dewlapped like bulls, whose throats had hanged at 'em wallets of flesh, or that there were such men whose heads stood in their breasts, which now we find each putter out of 5 for one will bring us good warrant of.
I will stand to feed, although my last, no matter, since I feel the best is past. Brother, my lord the Duke, stand to and do as we.
Thunder and lightning. Enter Ariel, like a harpy, claps his wings upon the table, and, with a quaint device, the banquet vanishes.
You are three men of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world, and what it isn't, the never surfeited sea hath caused to belch up you. And on this island, where man doth not inhabit, you mongst men being most unfit to live. I have made you mad, and even with such like valor men hang and drown their proper selves.
Alonzo, Sebastian, and company draw their swords.
You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with Bemectet stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dow that's in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strengths, and will not be uplifted. But remember, for what's my business to you, that you three from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed onto the sea which hath requited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores. Ye all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son Alonzo they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you and your ways, whose wraths to guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart sorrow and a clear life ensuing.
He vanishes in thunder, then to soft music enter the shapes again, and dance with mocks and mouths, and carrying out the table.
Bravely the figure of this harpy hast thou performed, my Ariel. The grace it had, devouring of my instruction, thou hadst nothing bated in what thou hadst to say. So with good life and observation strange, my meaner ministers their several kinds have done. My high charms work, and these mine enemies are all did up in their distractions. They are now in my power, and in these fits I leave them, while I visit young Ferdinand, and this whom they suppose is drowned, his and mine loved darling.
Exit above.
Aye, the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, 'tis monstrous, monstrous. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it. The winds did sing to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name of Prosper. It did base my trespass. Therefore, my son in the doze is bedded, and I'll seek him deeper than e'er plummet sounded, and with him there lie mudded.
Exit.
But one fiend at a time. I'll fight their legions over.
I'll be thy second.
Exit Sebastian and Antonio.
All three of them are desperate. Their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now begins to bite the spirits. I do beseech you that are of suppler joints, follow them swiftly and hinder them from this ecstasy, may now provoke them too.
Follow, I pray you.
Exit. Act 4. Scene 1. Before Prospero's cell. Enter Prospero, Ferdinand, and Miranda.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compassion makes amends, for I have given you here a third of mine own life, or that for which I live, who once again I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test here. Afore heaven I ratify this my rich gift. O Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast her off, for thou shalt find she shall outstrip all praise and make it halt behind her.
I do believe it against an oracle.
Then as my gift and thine own acquisition worthily purchase take my daughter. But if thou dost break her virgin knot before all sanctimonious ceremonies may with full and holy rite be ministered, no sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract grow, but barren hate and sour eye, disdain, and discord shall bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so lowly that ye shall hate it both. Therefore take heed, as Hymen's lamps shall light you.
As I hope for quiet days, fair issue and long life, with such love as 'tis now, the murkiest den, the most opportune place, the strongest suggestion, our worser genius can, shall never melt mine honor into lust, to take away the edge of that day's celebration, when I shall think, or Phoebus' steeds are foundered, or night kept chained below.
Fairly spoke. Sit then and talk with her. She is thine own. What, Ariel, my industrious servant? Ariel.
Enter Ariel.
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellows your last service did worthily perform. I must use you in such another trick. Go bring the rabble over whom I give thee power here to this place. Incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it from me.
Presently?
Aye, with a twink.
Before you can say come and go and breathe twice and cry so, each one tripping on his toe, will be here with mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel, do not approach till thou dost hear me call.
Well, I conceive.
Look,
Exit.
thou be true. Do not give dalliance too much to the rein. The strongest oaths are straw on the fire of the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
I warrant you, sir, the white cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well, now come, my Ariel, bring a corollary. Rather than want a spirit, appear and pertly. No tongue, all eyes. Be silent.
Soft music. Enter Iris.
Sarah is the most bounteous lady, thy richly as of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats, and peas. Thy turfy mountains where live nibbling sheep, and flat meads, twatch with stover them to keep. Thy banks with peony and twilled brims, which spongy April at thy hest betrims, to make cold nymphs chaste crowns, and thy brooms groves whose shadow the dismissed bachelor loves. Being last lorn thy pole-clipped vineyard, and thy sea marge sterile and rocky hard, where thou thyself dost err, the queen of the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee leave these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot in this very place, to come and sport her peacocks fly amain. Approach, rich Ceres, here to entertain.
Enter Ceres.
Hail, many-colored messenger that ne'er doth disobey the wife of Jupiter, who with thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffusest honey drops, refreshing showers, and with each end of thy blue bough dost crown my bosky acres and my unshrubbed down. Rich scarf to my proud earth, why hath thy queen summoned me hither to this short-grassed green?
True love to celebrate, and some donation freely to state on the best lovers.
Tell me, heavenly bough, if Venus or her son, as thou dost know, do now attend the queen? Since they did plot the means that dusky Dis, my daughter, got, her and her blind boy's scandaled company I have forsworn.
Of piety be not afraid. I met her deity cutting the clouds towards Paphos, and her son, doth run with her, here thought they have to done. Some wanton charm upon this man and maid, whose vows are that no bad right shall be paid, till Hymen's torch be lighted, but vain. Mars' hot minion is returned again, her wappish-headed son has broke his arrows, swears he will shoot no more but play with sparrows and be a boy right out.
Highest queen of state, great Juno comes. I know her by her gait.
Enter Juno.
How does my bounteous sister go with me to bless this twain, that they might prosperous be, and honored in their issue? Honor, riches, marriage blessing, long continuance and increasing, Hourly joys bestow upon you. Juno sings her blessings upon you.
Earths increase, voice in plenty, barns and garners never empty, vines and clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly birth and bowing. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you. Circe's blessing so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision and harmoniously charming. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits by which mine art have from their confines called to act my present fancies.
Let me live here ever. So rare a wondered father and a wife make this place paradise.
Sweet now, silence. Juno and Ceres whisper seriously. There's something else to do. Hush, be mute, or else our spell is marred.
You nymphs called naiads of the wandering brooks, with your sedged crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels and on this green land answer your summons. Juno does command. Come, temperate nymphs, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Be not too late.
Enter certain nymphs.
You sunburned sicklemen of August weary, come hither from the furrow and be merry. Make holiday, your rye straw hats put on, and these fresh nymphs encounter every one in country footing.
Enter certain reapers, properly habited. They join with the nymphs in a graceful dance, towards the end whereof Prospero starts suddenly and speaks, after which to a strange, hollow, and confused noise they heavily vanish.
I had forgotten that foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come. Well done. Avoid. No more.
This is strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, and moved apart, as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels are now ended. These are actors, as I told you. We're all spirits and melted into air, into thin air, and like the basest fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, solemn temples, great globe itself, all ye which will inherit shall dissolve like this insubstantial pageant folded, leave not a rock behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our life is rounded with the sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Bear with me my weakness. My brain is troubled. Be not disturbed with my infirmity. If you be pleased, retire into my cell and there reposed. A turn or two I'll walk to still my beating mind.
We wish your
Wish
peace.
you peace. Exit.
Come with the thought I thank thee, Ariel, come.
Enter Ariel.
Thy thoughts I cleave to. With thy pleasure.
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
I, my commander, when I presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee of it, but I feared lest I might anger thee.
Say again, where didst thou leave those varlets?
I told you, sir, they were red hot with drinking, so fun of valor that they smoked the air for breathing in their faces, beat the ground for kissing on their feet, yet always bending towards their project. Then I beat my tabor, at which, like unbacked colts, they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, lifted up their noses, and they smelt music, so I charmed their ears. The calf-like they my lowing followed through, tooth briers, sharp furzers, picking dross and thorns, which entered their frail shins, as last I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell. They're dancing up to the chins that the foul lake or stunk their feet.
That was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. The trumpery in my house, go bring it hither for stale to catch these thieves.
I go.
Exit.
A devil, a born devil upon whose nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. And with age his body grows uglier, so his mind cankers. It will plague them all, even to roaring.
Re-enter Ariel, loaded with glistening apparel and company.
Come, hang them on this line.
Prospero and Ariel remain invisible. Enter Caliban, Stephano, and Trinculo, all wet.
Pray you, tread softly. that the blind mole may not hear a footfall. We now are near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little better than play jack with us.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine. Do you hear, monster? If I should take a displeasure against you, look you.
Thou wert but a lost monster.
Good, my lord, give me thy favor still. Be patient, for the prize I'll bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore speak softly. All's hushed as midnight yet.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool?
There is not only disgrace and dishonor in that monster, but an infinite loss.
That's more to me than my wedding. Yet this is your harmless fairy monster.
I will fetch off my bottle, though I be over ears for my labor.
Prithee, my king, be quiet. Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever. And I, thy Caliban, for I, thy footlicker.
Give me thy hand, I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
O King Stephano, O peer, O worthy Stephano, look what a wardrobe here is for thee.
Let it alone, thou fool. It is but trash.
Oh ho, monster. We know what belongs to a frippery, O King Stephano.
Put off that gown, Triculo. By this hand, I'll have that gown.
Thy grace shall have it.
The dropsy drown this fool. What do you mean to dote thus on such luggage? Let's alone and do the murder first. If he wake from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pitches, make us strange stuff.
Be you quiet, monster. Mistress Line, is not this my jerkin? Now is the jerkin under the line? Now, jerkin, you are like to lose your hair and prove a bald jerkin.
Do, we steal by line and level, ain't like your grace.
I thank thee for that jest. Here's a garment for it, which shall not go unrewarded while I'm king of this country. Steal by line and level is an excellent passive pate. There's another garment for it.
Monster, come, put some lime upon your fingers, and away with the rest.
I will have none on it. We shall lose our time, and all it be turned to barnacles or to apes with foreheads villainous low.
Monster, lay to your fingers, help to bear this away, where my hogshead of wine is, or I'll turn you out of my kingdom. Go to, carry this.
And this.
Aye, and this.
The noise of hunters heard. Enter divers spirits, in shape of dogs and hounds, and hunt them about. Prospero and Ariel setting them on.
Hey, Mountain, hey!
Silver, I there it goes. Silver!
Fury, there, Tyrant, there. Hark.
Caliban, Stefano, and Tranquilo are driven out.
Go charge my goblins that they grind their joints with dry convulsions, shorten up their sinews with aged cramps, and more pinched spotted make them than pard or cat of the mountains.
Hark, they roar.
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour, lie at my mercy all mine enemies. Shortly shall my labors end, and thou shalt have the air at freedom. For a little follow and do me service.
Excellent. Act 5, Scene 1, before Prospero's cell. Enter Prospero in his magic robes and Ariel.
Now do my projects gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
Did say so when I first raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together, in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them, all prisoners, sir, in the lime grove which weather fens your cell. They cannot budge till your release. The king, his brothers, and yours abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay, but chiefly him that you tempt, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works them that if you beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
And mine shall. Hast thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions, and shall not myself, one of their kind, that relish all as sharply, passion as they, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason gatest my fury, do I take part. The rare action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
Exit.
Ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes, and groves, and ye that on the sands with a printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune and do fly him when he comes back. You demi puppets that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, where ewe not bites. And you whose pastime is to make the midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew. By whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. The strong base promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, oped and let them forth by so potent my art. But this rough magic I here abjure. And when I have required some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work mine end upon their senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than ever did plummet sound, I'll drown my book.
Solemn music. Re-enter Ariel before. Then Alonso with a frantic gesture, attended by Gonzalo, Sebastian, and Antonio in a like manner. Attended by Adrian, Francisco, they all enter the circle which Prospero had made, and there they stand charmed, which Prospero observing speaks.
A solemn air and the best comforter to an unsettled fancy cure thy brains, now useless, boiled within thy skull. There stand, for you are spell stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, mine eyes, even sociable to the show of thine, fall fellowly drops. The charm dissolves apace, as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, so their rising senses begins to chase the ignorant fumes that mantle their clearer reason. O good Gonzalo, my true preserver, and a loyal sir to him you follows, I will pay thy graces home in word and deed. Most cruelly did thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was furtherer in the act thou pitch forth now. Sebastian, flesh and blood, you, brother mine that entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, who with Sebastian in inward pinches, therefore we are most strong, would have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. The understanding begins to swell, and the approaching tide will shortly fill the reasonable shore that now lies foul and muddy. Not one of them that yet looks upon me, or would know me, Ariel. Fetch me the hat and rapier in my cell. I will decase me and myself presently, as I was sometime Milan. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Ariel sings and helps to attire him.
Where the bee sucks, there suck I, and in the cowslip's bell I lie. There I couch when owls do cry, on the bat's back I do fly. After summer merrily, merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs upon the bough. Were you supposed to sing that?
Was I?
I don't know.
Well, you did a great.
Why, that's my dainty Ariel.
Sorry, I think maybe I was.
I don't know, I didn't say it right. I shall miss thee, but thou yet should have freedom. So. The king's ship, invisible as thou art, there shalt thou find the mariners asleep under the hatches, the master and the boatswain being awake, force them to this place, and presently, I prithee.
I drink the air before me, and return, or ere your pulse twice beat.
Exits.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement, inhabitants here, some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wrong Duke of Milan, Prospero. For more assurance that as a living prince does now speak to thee. I embrace thy body, and to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
Whether thou best hear or know, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me as late I have been, I not know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind amends, which I fear a madness held me. This must crave. And if this be at all a most strange story, thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat thou pardon me my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
Yet you do not taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends all. But you, my brace of lords, were I so minded, I here could pluck his highness's frown upon you and justify you traitors at this time. I will tell no tales.
The devil speaks in him.
No. For you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. Do I forgive thy rankest fault, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. How thou hast met us here, who 3 hours since were wrecked upon this shore where I have lost, how sharp the point of this remembrance is, my dear son, Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past her cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help, of whose soft grace, and for the like loss I have her sovereign aid, and rest myself content.
You the like loss.
As great to me as late, and supportable to make the dear loss, have I means much weaker than you to call comfort you. For I have lost my daughter.
A daughter. Oh, heavens, that they were living in both in Naples. The king and queen there that they were. I wish myself were mudded in that oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest, I perceived these lords. At this encounter, do so much admire. They devour their reason and scarce think. Their eyes do opposites of truth. Their words are natural breath. But howsoever you have been justified for your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very Duke who was thrust forth of Milan, and who most strangely upon this shore, where you were wrecked, has landed, to be the Lord on't. No more yet of this, for 'tis a chronicle of day by day. Not a relation for a breakfast, nor befitting this first meeting. Welcome, sir. This sells my court. Here I have a few attendants, and subjects none abroad. Pray you, look in. My dukedom, since you have given me again, I will you with a good thing, and at least bring forth a wonder, and content ye as much me my dukedom.
Here Prospero discovers Ferdinand and Miranda playing chess. Sweet lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for the score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island one, dear son, shall I twice lose?
A most high miracle.
Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Kneels.
Now, all the blessings of a glad father compass thee about, arise, and say how thou camest here.
Oh, wonder, how many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave new world that has such people in it.
'Tis new to thee.
What is this maid with whom thou wast at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. Is she the goddess that has severed us and brought us here together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by immortal providence she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to the famous Duke of Milan, of whom so often I have heard renown, but never saw before, of whom I have received a second life and second father. This lady makes him to me.
I am hers. But, oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask my child forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burthen our remembrance with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoke ere this. Look down, you God, and on this couple drop a blessed crown, for it is you that have chalked forth the way which brought us hither.
I say, amen, Gonzalo.
Was Milan thrust from Milan, and that his issue should become king of Naples? Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy, and set it down with gold on lasting pillars. In one voyage did Claribel her husband find at Tunis, and Ferdinand her brother found a wife where he himself was lost. Prospero his dukedom in a poor isle, and all of us ourselves when no man was his own.
Give me your hands. Let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Be it so, amen.
Re-enter Ariel with the master and boatswain amazedly following.
Oh, look, sir, here is more of us. I prophesied, if a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. Now blasphemy, that swearest graced overroared, not an oath on shore. Hast thou no mouth by land? What is the news?
The best news is that we have safely found our king and company. The next, our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave our split, is tight and yar and bravely rigged as when we first put it out to sea.
Sir, all this service have I done since I went.
My tricksy spirit.
These are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger. Say, how came you hither?
If I did think, sir, I were well awake. I'd strive to tell you, we were dead of sleep, and how we know not, all clapped under hatches, where but even now, with strange and several noises of roaring, shrieking, howling, jingling chains, and more diversity of sounds all horrible, we were awaked straightway at liberty, where we, in all her trim, freshly beheld our royal, good, and gallant ship, our master capering to her eye, on a trice, so please you, even in a dream, we were divided from them, and we were brought moping hither.
Was it well done?
Bravely, my diligence. Thou shalt be free.
This is as strange a maze as e'er men trod, and there is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangest of this business. At picked leisure, which shall be shortly, single shall I resolve you, which to you seem probable of every this happened accidents. Till when, be cheerful and think of each thing well. Come hither, my spirit, set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell.
Exit Ariel.
How fares my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remember not.
Re-enter Ariel, driving in Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo in their stolen apparel.
Every man shift for all the rest, and let no man care for himself, for all this is but fortune. Carago, bully monster, Carago!
If these be true spies which I wear in my head, here's a goodly sight.
O Sebetus, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is! I am afraid he will chastise me.
Ha ha! What things are these, my lord Antonio? Will money buy 'em?
Very like one of them is a plain fish and no doubt marketable.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lord, they say if they be true. This misshapen knave, his mother was a witch, one so strong that could control the moon, make flows and ebbs, and deal her command without her power. And these three have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, has plotted with them to take my life. Two of these fellows you must know and own. This thing of darkness, knowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is not this Stefano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk now. Where had he wine?
And Trinculo, his reeling ripe. Where should they find this grand liquor that hath gilded them? How camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me will never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stefano?
Oh, touch me not. I'm not Stefano, but a cramp.
You be the king of the isle, sirrah.
I should have been a sore one of them.
This is a strange thing. Has e'er I looked on?
Pointing to Caliban.
He is disproportionate in his manner as in his shape. Go, sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions, as you look to have my pardon. Trim it handsomely.
Aye, that I will. And I'll be wise hereafter, and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I, to take this drunkard for a god, and worship this dull fool.
Go to away.
Hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it.
Or stole it, rather.
Exeunt Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo.
Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, which part of it I'll waste with such discourse as I not doubt shall make it go quick away, the story of my life and the particular accidents gone by since I came to this isle. In the morn, I shall bring you and your ship so to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of these our dear beloved solemnized, and retire me to Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely.
I'll deliver all and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. My Ariel, chick, that is thy charge. Then to the elements be free, and fare thou well. Please you, draw near.
Exeunt. Epilogue.
Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is most faint now, 'tis true. I must be here confined by you or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got and pardon the deceiver dwell in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands, and with the help of your good hands, gentle breath of your sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, arts to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces that so it assaults, mercy itself, and frees all faults. As you from crimes and would pardon be, let your indulgence set me free.
The end.
The end of The Tempest
Yay.
by one William Shakespeare.
Who was smart. Thank you guys for watching. Next week is movie night. The adaptation reimagining we'll be watching is Disney's The Little Mermaid. And keeping with the tropics, next Saturday at 9 p.m. EST, we are putting on a production of the never before adapted unmade sequel masterpiece, Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian.
Woo!
I hope to see y'all there. Thank you guys so much for joining us.